I got my kids in the background. They're just chilling. Kids just playing PS5. If that's cool.
What's he playing?
He's playing what is it? Spider-Man 2, Keaton?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gas. Nah. I have an Xbox, and I've been thinking about getting rid of it because I play on my PC now.
Oh damn.
But I just remember, bro, being a kid and like on a weekend day too, bro, playing games all day.
Yeah, that's literally as soon as you woke up, he's been playing ever since. So
Grinding.
yeah.
All right, cool. We can go ahead and jump into it. All right, what's going on, man? It's your boy Gregory Cooper, and I'm back with another video, man. Looking for my starting spot. I'm not going nowhere. And this is gonna be another segment of Kloth Talk. Now, again, Kloth Talk is just where I'm grabbing an article titles from Hypebeast, Complex, and it's all talking about sneakers, fashion, and all that jazz that I like. And I bring people on here who have those same interests. But we got a long time mutual on this episode, man. I'm glad we was able to get this together. I feel like I've been wanting to do this for a very long time, but I haven't done a Kloth Talk in a full month, and that just feels crazy. Like, I typically do these once every other week, and it's been a full month since I did one. So I'm glad I'm coming back with somebody I've been mutuals for a very long time. I don't know when, 2021 we followed each other, or
start of COVID-ish, or around that time?
Yeah, it was real early into it, like legit going on 3 years of following each other. And it's crazy just to see, I mean, we'll definitely get into it. It's crazy to see like the landscape of social media change since a lot of us got started during COVID, and like what it is now. I definitely see like a difference in it's like interactions. Like it's no longer, I feel like the people that you got when you were in COVID and like the new people that come to like pages, I feel like it's like a different like engagement, interactions. I feel like
for sure.
Overall, I think it's just interesting. But we'll definitely talk about that as we get more into your personal journey with social media. But let's go ahead and jump into this first article. All right, so this article title reads, first look at the Corteiz Nike Air Trainer Huarache. Growing up, what was the main sneaker for you? Because you're from California, right?
Yeah.
What was like the main sneaker? Like if you had these in high school, you was like the man on campus.
Man, it just depends. Like I feel like I mean, when I was in high school, that's like from 2005 to 2009. So I think just depending on what kind of group, what kind of group of friends you had, it all changed. So freshman and sophomore year of high school, I was hanging around with a bunch of thugs. And, the thugs, they love the Converse. They wore a lot of Converse with the fat laces. Used to stuff a sock, like where the tongue laces are, to give them like a chunkier look. K-Swisses, the Reeboks, the classic Reeboks, and then junior and senior year of high school, I started hanging out with I guess you could call them like the whitewashed Asian kids that were really into like surf brands and streetwear. That was like my kind of like introduction into like the streetwear, or when I started getting into streetwear was around that time. And around that time, I think it was like, they had Nike Talk, the forums and stuff. So like the old sneakerheads were wearing like, the SBs and stuff. And for me personally, my introduction in streetwear was like, or at least the sneaker aspect of it was Vans, specifically like the Vault stuff. There were so many like Vans Vault collabs back in the day that were so sick. And at least for me, I was just rocking like regular Vans, nothing like too crazy. I don't think like my school was like huge into, or maybe I just didn't notice too often, but the sneaker, it wasn't so much a sneakerhead culture. It was more like streetwear and like at least during that time for me.
Yeah, I grew up in the Bay Area. I always tell people like, everybody wanted the Jordans. I'm talking like Jordan 8s,
okay,
the 7s, the 6s, whatever the case may be. People wanted Jordans. Vans were the only shoe besides a handful of other ones where you could actually get away with like, oh, like he's into sneakers. Like Vans are always a staple, I feel like, in anyone's closet. Like the hood dudes was wearing them, the basketball kids was rocking them. Like everybody was rocking Vans. So like it was always a good sneaker to have in your closet. And I feel like going back to the article, how do you feel about these? Because I remember when Huaraches got big when I was a sophomore in high school. So like I remember I had 2 pairs of Huaraches and like they were mad comfortable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to get your thoughts on these because I have opinions on these.
I remember when this like model came out. What's up, baby? Yeah, go ahead. Good, I'll be right here. For me, it was I was already in college in the Philippines when the Huaraches came out, and there was like a huge thing. I actually really like Huaraches. I had like these like hyper pink and black pairs. I saw these models come out, and I thought they were pretty sick. Comfort wise, they were chill. But this particular like colorway, I don't know, I kind of like it. I like the gray. I like the hidden like camo panel underneath. And like that, the strap is like what, translucent? It's kind of see-through. That's pretty sick. I don't know. I think they'd look great with like cargo pants.
Oh yeah. I mean, I feel like anything go good with cargo pants, bro. I feel like I'll throw a cargo pants on with anything.
Yeah. No, that's true.
I just feel like my opinion on this shoe is, you know, given, you know, the success that Corteiz, or is it Corteiz or Cortez? Corteiz.
I think it's Corteiz.
The success that he's had with his own personal brand, and, you know, given that the 95 is like very desirable still to this day on the resale market, it just like, I mean, you can't really get them unless you're willing to pay an arm and a leg. This one, and I don't want to say it, but it just feels like a Cavs grab to me. Like there are unique elements. I'm not going to take that away from this shoe, but I feel like if they were going to do this camo, it could have been a little bit more tasteful. And that's, I just feel like it's not, I don't know what it just doesn't, it's not resonating with me. I didn't like, just like, it could have been somewhere else, and I think it would have did it a little bit more justice.
Yeah, they probably included it on more panels of the sneaker, huh?
Yeah, or like, you know, just intertwined it to where like it kind of felt like it fit, because like the rest of the shoe was gray, suede, and then I feel like the camo just like pops in out of nowhere, and I feel like that element isn't anywhere else on the shoe. So I'm like, it kind of just feel like they just kind of threw it in there just for like, hey, I could do this. I don't know. But I rock it with it though. I think it's a dope sneaker. I don't think I would pay for it.
Yeah.
I don't think I would pay for it.
But yeah, it's definitely an interesting sneaker to wear. I don't see myself wearing this like often, but I think, you know, if you pull it out every now and again, it's one of those sneakers that, you know, with the right outfit, I think it looks good. I just wish I knew what like the process is when they come up with a collab sneaker. Does Nike give them options? Are they trying to like get certain brands or creators to like push a certain model of sneaker out? You know, like it's an interesting choice, especially from what they released with the 95s, right? So I don't know if like this is, you know, maybe Corteiz is like, he had a pair of Huaraches back in the day, and he was like, yo, let me see what I can do with these, you know. But yeah, it wouldn't be my first choice, but I think it's a cool sneaker. I'm a big fan of like obscure like sneakers that people wouldn't usually rock. I just think it, you know, I feel like if you like a sneaker, you should definitely just, you know, pick it up regardless of like the hype, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I feel where you're coming from. They definitely could have done more with the camo. Like even if they went like all camo with the gray on the inside, I think that would have been I think that would have been pretty sick. Kind of like how Supreme did with the fives with the that desert camo.
Yeah.
I thought those were so hard.
And I feel like that's what, and honestly, I didn't even think of that, but I feel like that would make it stand out more. That would make it like kind of give it that like this isn't just like a GR, because it kind of just, and like I always make this complaint that like, you know, I definitely give dang, I'm slipping Jam I give them a lot of shit because I feel like a lot of their collab shoes are literally just name slaps, and I'm like, this is just a GR with Jam on the inside of the sole.
They just had something drop today, and I was looking at it, their Asics that just dropped, and they just seem like GR, like you said, they look like GR pairs with.
Oh my, yeah, I saw those, bro. I didn't even.
they sold out. They sold out regardless, but
they're always going to sell out. I'll give them that. They're always going to sell because I feel like they have diehard fans of the brand. So like,
sure.
You know, I respect it, but I don't also respect it.
Yeah.
But I see a lot of people are going back into the vaults. I feel like this year has been the year for sneakers of people trying to revisit old silhouettes, bring back things that, you know, for a long time, I feel like, especially during the pandemic, like 2021, it was still like Jordan 1s.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, you know, like the main silhouettes. But I feel like this year has been like people are trying to have the resurgence of foam posits back, flight posits, Kloth posits, Huaraches. I think even Deion Sanders shoes are coming back. Like, I feel like people are trying to get that old feel back, which I'm not mad at it. I like it. I like seeing different stuff. I don't like always seeing Sambas. I don't like always seeing Jordan 1s. So, all right, final take. 1 out of 5. What would you give it?
You know, I'll give it like a 3.
I respect it.
You know, not something I would gravitate towards, but like I said, if I had them, I would definitely like pull them out every now and again with the right fit, you know.
Almost like if I was gifted these, I would be more inclined to rock them.
For sure, yeah.
But again, I'm 28, I have bills to pay. So there are other things that like I would want prior or more than these. I would give it a 2.5. Which doesn't mean it's bad. It just doesn't mean like it's not the most desirable for me.
Yeah.
But let's jump into the next topic. All right, so this article title reads, "On foot look at the 2025 Union LA Air Jordan 1 High OG." Now, I was very late to when the last Union 1s dropped, and I was very disappointed that I did not get into that. But how do you feel about these? Are you still rocking Jordan 1s? Or how do you feel about
actually, I think 2021, 2022, I had because during COVID, like you said, it was a big Jordan 1 time, and I went crazy with Jordan 1s. I bought all the OGs, and you know, just buying a bunch of old. Literally, that's all I'd wear was Jordan 1s. I was buying different pairs and different colorways just to like match with the fits, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna wear Jordan 1s all the time. Like, this is my favorite sneaker in the world, and that's all I'm gonna be rocking for the rest of my life. And then I sold almost everything. I have one pair of Jordan 1s. They're not even like Jordan 1s. They're like some customs that I had done. But
is it that orange pair you have?
No, I have shit. I literally sold everything.
Okay.
So my dad thrifted a pair of Jordan 1.5s, and we all know the 1.5s have like the ugliest sole, but he thrifted them for like $5. And so I took a Nike Dunk sole. I had them sole swapped with Nike Dunk soles, and then I wanted to like kind of remake when Michael Jordan wore those like sample Jordan 1s, the Jordan 1 Chicagos with like Dunk soles on them. So that was the inspiration for these. But sadly, these are a size 8, and I don't know if I gained a lot of weight, but I am a size 9 now, so these don't even fit me. But this is the only pair of Jordan 1s that I have. I love the Chicago colorway.
It's a classic. You
Yeah,
can't really.
and
That's always gonna be the good thing about this shoe. Because like I wouldn't say that Jordan 1's necessarily phased out,
yeah,
but I think that there are other players that are making really dope sneakers. But this shoe is always going to be at the forefront of sneaker
yeah,
culture or just sneaker conversations in general. And I don't know. I'll see how I feel when 2025 rolls in, but like I almost want to go after these just for the simple fact that like this is such a staple in like anybody's closet.
yeah. Um, the Union collabs are my favorite Jordan ones. My brother, I had both pairs of the Unions at one point, and I saw Ruigi of Rude wear them. He mismatched. He wore one pair of each color, and I was doing that. I still have pictures on my feed, on my Instagram feed when I did that. But yeah, I would just wear each colorway with my outfits, and I thought it was like the sickest thing ever. These are so beautiful. I still have, those will probably be my grails, is the black toe Unions. Probably my favorite. I love this pair right here. My brother recently got both pairs of the first two Union ones, which I'm jealous about. And I'm not gonna be buying them for myself, but I'm gonna try to get him a pair. These are just beautiful, dude.
Done really well.
Yeah,
Like extremely well.
yeah, I love, the aged soles, the stitching that separates them, the little orange like accents. All throughout, it's a beautiful pair of Jordan ones. I love every time Union puts out the Jordan ones, they're just so nice, dude.
Do you remember when people had the little sticker markers that you can age your soles with your
Yeah,
shoes?
I still have a bottle somewhere.
Hey, it's the whole gang back there. So I'm interested though, because I definitely did for a while phase out of rocking sneakers. I kind of like went more towards boots and loafers. What was it for you that kind of want to like you? What was it for you that made you want to like get rid of your Jordans? Because like that was like the boom of Jordan 1s and just sneakers.
Well, I mean, pivotal point for me mostly was just like I had so many Jordan 1s. I had Jordan 1s and I had like only hype sneakers. So I would buy like the off-white collabs from like the 10, and then the other ones that they released after that, the Unions. Pretty much like I wouldn't step out the house if I felt like I didn't have like heat on my feet, you know what I mean? And but some of the shoes weren't getting a lot of love, I wore certain sneakers a lot, and I just didn't see the purpose of me having all these sneakers and not wearing them. It just didn't make sense to me. It's kind of like like when you're a kid and you have all these old toys and you just like kind of like Toy Story, when you don't play with your toys, they get no love.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt the same way about like shoes, even till now. Like if I'm not gonna buy a pair of sneakers if I don't see myself wearing it. And like a lot of these shoes that I get, it's mostly stuff that I personally like, not necessarily like hype shoes, unless people send me stuff. But for the most part, I guess I got to a point in my life where I'm like, okay, if I'm not wearing them, there's no use for me keeping them. It just makes no sense. And as you get, I don't know if it's like a thing, as you get older, you kind of want to like shift, your style shifts and your taste changes. And, like you gravitate towards like clogs and boots and stuff like that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I wanted to get out of my comfort zone and kind of like, change or adapt to what I was getting into,
Mm-hmm. I feel like for me, all it takes is me not to wear something for a month, and I'm like, yeah, I'll get rid of that.
Yeah.
Like, if I don't touch it, like go for it, or even like try to attempt to rock it, I'm like, yeah, let's get rid of that. I'm done. Like that's why I feel like at the beginning of this year, I got rid of like, I would say 80% of my closet. I didn't really like the stuff that I had anymore, but like also start going to the gym and I put on a lot of weight.
Yeah.
So it was like I couldn't fit anything anymore. So I was like, all right, cool. I mean, it kind of works. But like now I'm getting so specified with the things that I like that I'll know within a week if I don't like it for real. So like my closet's being tailored to like only things I know I would actually put on.
Yeah.
Like I would say during the pandemic and even like 2021 when I was getting sent stuff heavily, like I just had a bunch of stuff that was never seen like the daylight.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, these fire. I really might have to like, oh yeah, and that this hit right here is crazy. Yeah, nah, I might need these. These are fire.
Yeah, I mean, if I could pull a second pair, I definitely have to keep them. I just, if I have to have one pair of sneakers in my closet, it's either the bread toe unions or Chicago's are just timeless. They're classic, beautiful pair each time. Especially these, these are crazy. So fuck, it's gonna be super hard to get them for sure, but worth the shot.
There's more people into sneakers now than there was 3 years ago. So it's gonna, that's gonna be tough. But let's get into this next article. All right, so this article title reads: Puma and Skepta reunite for Forever Skope Mid. Now this is my speed. This is my speed.
I'm waiting for them to drop. I love these. I think Puma's been doing pretty good with some of the collabs that they've had. I like the ASAP Rocky, the cat looking ones that came out, the red ones. Those are pretty sick. I love these. I think these are very beautifully done. They went minimal on their branding, and they look like great like sneaker hiker shoes. They got the chunkier sole with like that tire tread, beautiful brown, and the pop of the red on the laces, and the metal, the eyelets. These are so nice.
Yeah, no, I think, which I didn't even really notice because I saw the article title. The fact that it is such a subtle thing I wouldn't even know these were Pumas until you got really, which I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with Pumas. Yeah. But like I didn't notice that like it does have a very, very subtle branding on it.
Yeah, I think it's more significant on the inside. And even then it's not like too crazy where you're like, oh, those are Pumas,
Mm-hmm. Now these are fire, bro. And this is what I mean, like, I don't know what it is about boots that make me feel like I can pair that with way more. Like I could see these with shorts very easily. I could see these with pants very easily. And then it's like I already have the two elements of the main things I'm gonna rock, but then like you could go hiking in these too. So it's like a very multifaceted shoe. And again, the color pop, the overall design, I think they really took it there with these. And I feel like, of course, it being Skepta is gonna already drive sales, but I feel like these alone could have just sold just being Pumas.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know.
If they came out with these in other colorways, I would definitely, I'll probably try to get a pair when they come out, because I've been eyeing these for a while. I'm like, man, I'm just waiting for them to drop because they're pretty sick.
No, they would be fire. And almost, all streetwear lovers, they do an olive pair with like a slight gray hit.
Yeah.
And like come on now, that'd be. Look, Puma, if you're watching this video, if anyone's working at Puma's watching this, which you probably won't, he's only get like 10 views. Make this in a green with a gray, and then you could keep it black here, and then maybe with the lace you could do a yellow pop,
orange,
hey, I'm giving y'all free game with that, because one, don't let this just be a Skepta shoe. Like y'all need to turn this into a full collection, or like you said, like we can get multiple different variations. I am wondering though, because they didn't show the packaging for this in this article, if there's going to be another set of laces with this shoe. I like this, but I feel like typically what they do with shoes that have crazy laces like this is they at least give you
like
two
a
other
tonal pair.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see what that tonal pair would be in this case. But I do like the pop though. I'm always a fan of something that's going to make it stand out. Yeah, nah, this was fire. And I think the campaign was dope too. I
No,
think they captured the elements. Did it say when it was coming out? I thought I saw it. Oh, November. Oh, November 2nd.
Oh, shit. But it's a UK. Is that a UK only?
Yeah, I think so. You know, you might have to hit the grails of the world to see. But I never really I haven't really seen these on my explore page. I might have every once in a while seen them. But I don't see people really covering these. So I feel like you might have a good shot. I might just check out of curiosity. And if it's like a good price, I might see what's up. But yeah, out of 5, these are solid 4.5. Solid.
Yeah.
All right. That is going to conclude the articles. Let me see here. And again, I'm always interested. I know we've been mutuals for a very long time, but I think this is the first time we've talked like this. So I'm always interested, how you got started. Like, what was that push like for you to even jump on, like, oh, I'm gonna get in front of a camera and I'm gonna start, putting myself out there?
So for me, it was definitely COVID. They had us locked down, and everyone is at home and stuff like that. So, you're just like so bored at home. You're like, damn, I don't know what to do. And I was thrifting a lot at the time, had so many clothes, and I was like, dude, I have nowhere to, wear these outfits to. So I used to go to like abandoned parking lots, and at the time, people were, it's crazy how like the whole fit pick evolution has changed over the years. But people would go to like parking lots or blank walls or, and just take your outfit pics. And that's what I used to do. I just put on outfits that I thought were cool at the time, and just started taking pictures and posting it on the gram. And and then it was cool because you met a lot of other people like ourselves, through that. So it kind of created like it's cool because you got to meet people that were also like into the same kind of things as you. And but yeah, I literally just pretty much just COVID just started putting out outfits of clothes I wasn't wearing in my closet. And I didn't really think it turned into a whole thing, but here we are. But yeah, it was just like a love of clothes.
Yeah, I feel like it was almost like we were in California and it was ridiculously strict. Like,
yeah,
it was either stay in and watch everybody else do something, but it's like I want to go out and do something. So I literally my initial jump was like I had a chair with a water bottle, set the phone up and walk in front of the camera type. I didn't even have a tripod, but it was just because I needed something to do. So I definitely feel you on that. Like it was like I was almost forced to do something, thinking that it would turn into this. Not really, because I always been anti social media up until when I started. Wow. I was very anti social media. So it is funny to see back how active I was on social media on my previous account versus how active I am now. Is just
dude, you had a whole movement with the toss, man.
Oh yeah,
that was a huge thing. I was seeing people left and right throughout, posting their pics with the hashtagging, the Kloth toss.
Yeah, it was
doing the lean. That was the whole thing, man. It was so crazy.
It's dope, bro. Like you said, we were now connected with people like the Vinny out in New York, or like the Jew joiners of the world, or all these people who are doing really dope stuff. Like they started out when we were all under each other's comments, like, oh, fly fit, sharing it to the story. And that's why I feel like, we got older. So I don't really know what it is about what's going on with the current thing, but I feel like it's so divided now. It's not, at first it felt like a real community.
Yeah.
It was a real community. Everyone was putting everyone on, tagging and all this stuff. But I feel like now it's so people want that real mood board aesthetic, which I can't blame them. Like you have to progress, but it's like it's so alienated now from like the community aspect of it.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, there's definitely been a shift of like, of like even like with the aesthetics, like you said, everyone's very much like, they have to have their Instagram feed look very aesthetic, and you get certain elements you won't get reposted on repost pages unless like you fit like criteria nowadays, you know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of it has shifted towards like, it's not like back in the day, like when we started doing it, everyone was like, it was COVID. You didn't really have friends. You didn't really have people to take pictures for you. It was mostly just, by yourself and posting the outfits, where now it's like a lot of the big fashion pages, a lot of the big outfit pages, they're groups of people, or they got a lot of homies or friends that are able to take their pictures in like these really cool areas and like angles and stuff like that,
Yeah, I feel like it was a. I'm not even trying to big up like when we started, because like it wasn't even that, but I feel like it was like a little bit more raw back then. Like people were like, we were posting like, oh, like this is a dope fit, but like we were still just adding like, just our day-to-day stuff too. It wasn't just like everything needed to be aesthetically pleasing. I don't know. It is a difference I noticed with Instagram, and I feel like that's why I kind of like distanced myself from it, because it didn't really feel like what it was. And I feel like YouTube, I'm even on TikTok a little bit more, just because I feel like it's a little bit more like I can be a little bit more myself and not have to worry about the whole big aesthetic of it all.
Yeah.
Which is honestly, it's a great segue into the next question, because we have been doing it for like 4 years now. I've got a job just because of what I've done on social media. So it's like, how do you stay inspired to get on Instagram, to get on TikTok, to continuously post when we've been doing it for so long? I'm interested in that, because I see what you do, and like I commend you, bro. Like I feel like you're still true to like what you had started out with. Like every time I open Instagram, I can see a new fit from you. So I'm interested.
It's hard, man. Don't get me wrong. I think a lot of different elements play a factor. Like, obviously I work a full-time job at the hospital. I'm like trying to study and, kind of elevate my career. Outside of that, then I'm also a dad all the time. And, all my free time, I'm either in the gym or I'm trying to like make content. And, I don't know. I think just being able to have something, I feel like as you get older, especially like what people forget is when you become a parent and you're given like other responsibilities, not just about yourself, you tend to kind of lose yourself as a parent. People start gaining weight, or you stop seeing your friends less because they got to take care of their kids. And then it just becomes parenting and work, and I didn't want that to define who I was, because I felt like I was more than just a parent and like, someone that worked as a hospital worker. Like I don't know if that makes any sense, but people tend to lose themselves as a parent, where you get too caught up in life and you forget like all your interests and stuff. And fashion, this whole like streetwear aspect of it has always been something I loved, and I didn't want to like let go of that per se. I wanted to hold on to who I was outside of like being a parent, being like,
professional.
Yeah. So, and that's what keeps me inspired, is being able to do something that I enjoy doing. Like I love being able to like go out and take outfit pictures. You know what I mean? It's my alone time. I'm by myself. I'm like in my element. I'm looking for spots. You're kind of in the zone. You're kind of like, you kind of forget about everything else that's going on when you're like taking pictures, because it's kind of like it's like an art in itself somehow, and you get to like work on your craft, and you get to that's kind of what inspires me, is just to like being able to do something that I enjoy doing. As someone like who grew up in like a very traditional Filipino household, you're kind of like, your parents are like, hey, you got to become a nurse. Hey, this is like the only thing you need to do in life is like, this everything else doesn't matter. When they ask me like, hey, what do you want to do when you go to college? Or, when I was younger, I told my parents like, yo, I want to go to fashion school. I want to like get into fashion, something along that lines. My dad's mom is actually like, she's a seamstress back in like the mid 1950s, 60s. She put a lot of my dad and his siblings through school because she used to make dresses, and suits, and like she like won awards back in the day in the Philippines for like some of the work she did, so I don't know if it's like something that runs in my blood, but I've always wanted to pursue fashion, but it was never like an option. They're like, hey, you can't do that, so you gotta become a nurse or do something in the professional realm for us to like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love my parents, very supportive and stuff like that, but it's like
they just think about for the larger picture. I wish I could get.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I feel like if you're not doing something you love, then what do you have to look forward to? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if you're able to like do something that you like, it kind of balances out everything else going on, and that's what I'm working towards right now. I'm working on becoming an RN. At the moment, I'm like studying and stuff like that. But also, like, once I get it, I want to use that to like, also fund, whether it be like, working less and kind of focusing on. I mean, this is just a thought, but like, starting a clothing brand and nothing like crazy, just doing something that you like to do,
Mm-hmm.
something at least you can say like, even if like the clothing brand doesn't pop off, at least I can say like, oh, I tried something in that realm. I tried, doing my own thing for a little bit, and
I mean, that will literally become a transferable skill, because then the process of how to make certain things where people pay for that information. And also, like, going back to what you said about like scouting locations, that's also a job too.
Yeah.
Like, scouting places, having a good source of like places people can go, and like that's all. As I've got into my role and my position, I've noticed everything that I was doing is that I just thought was like, oh, I'm just gonna take a fit pic, or I'm just like, if I get a sponsorship or something, I'm like renting out a studio space, and I'm like, having photography, like that's all a skill that people legit went to school for, that I was just doing as like a meantime. So I get, the funny thing is, because I went to college too, and I get the perspective like a parent where like they don't really see like people are making legit careers out of this. People are legit just fashion content creators, and that's it. So it's like that wasn't necessarily a thing for a very long time. I would say literally probably up until COVID. And it became like, oh, I can make this a career of just being like aesthetically pleasing or just having the right fits. Like, you get in line with other people. So I could definitely understand that sense that, getting a career, let's say.
Yeah, and it wasn't until like recently we've, until we've gotten some pretty big. I've worked on some pretty big campaigns like last year and some of this year, and it wasn't until like I showed my parents like, yo, this, they're paying us to do this and that. They're like, oh shit, you can make a lot of money. And I see how creators do it full time. Like it's really hard to like go to work and then on your only time off, you're like trying to also make content for other brands and stuff like that. It's a full-time job. Editing takes some time, and you gotta go through drafts. They have to be approved. You might have to refilm, and it takes up a lot of time and a lot of energy. And sometimes like if you're overwhelmed with like everything else going on, you kind of like lose, But
I think that's a good aspect to that. I feel like I might make a video on this, like, because I do weekly YouTube videos.
Yeah.
I've been doing it for like almost like 2 years straight. I've had like maybe 2 or 3 hiccups where I didn't post, but like being in the mood to get in front of a camera is already hard enough.
Yeah.
Like, doing a full 40 and then, it's the weekend, you just want to relax, but you got to clean, you got to cook, go to the gym, then, you got to attend to the loved ones. And then it's like, okay, I'm exhausted, but I also want to do this. So then now it's like I have to set up a camera and I have to get in front of it and talk. It's like, this is a lot.
It gets overwhelming sometimes.
Yeah. But I feel like that's what makes me, because even though like, you know, I've definitely taken a hit on my Instagram, it's like I still see the potential and the need for it as far as like content creators and like, you know, having an opinion on things because opinions sway people and it may, you know, affect, you know, a company or something. So like I definitely still see, like, I think that's what keeps me inspired. Is like I see that this is still a necessity within the marketing scheme of the world. So it's
Yeah.
like, you know, if I, you know, just stay at it, it'll come when it comes. So another question though that I'm interested in knowing, because I've seen the back and forth online. I see that I think you handled it really well because, you know, people always have outside opinions, but, you know, you've started integrating your kids into it, which I think is some dope content. I think it's like a timeline cleanse when it's not just, you know, some, you know, Nepo baby kid rocking some Rick or some Capital from 2005. So,
Yeah.
I'll let you go more into like what happened and why you felt like you needed to address that on your story.
Yeah. You know, obviously people always have an opinion about everything. Um, you know, it's not like I force my kids to do all this stuff. It's always like, you know, people tend to forget like if you're not a parent, it might be hard to understand sometimes, but you know, what growing up, if you have, you know, with your parents around, if they have hobbies, you know, a lot of people are into like golfing now, and then, or, you know, your parents take you along with you to places that they're interested in. Like for me personally, my dad was a huge thrifter. He used to go to garage sales, thrifting, all that stuff. Growing up, I'd have to go with him. You know, he'd take me all to all these places. So as I got older, you know, I started thrifting and stuff like that. And being that mine was always like you know, I was already taking outfit pics even before the kids were born. You know, I would take them with me when I'd go to like do my photo shoots and stuff like that. So it's always something that they see me doing, and there's, you know, eventually they were like, "Hey daddy, can we do it with you?" And I think that translates to like a lot of parents. Like if your parents are into golf, or that you see other of your peers who have kids that are into golf, and then they take their kids golfing, or they have birthdays where it's like, you know, golf related or whatever it may be, you know. So people like I feel like some people assume that like, oh, this guy's, you know, you're like exploiting your kids, you're making them do something that they don't want to do, you know. And at the end of the day, you know, people are always going to have their opinions. um I my kids, I'm always going to take my kids with me if I have to do photo shoots, if I have no one to watch them. And like I said, this is also for us, it's like bonding time. They know this is something I love doing, which is maybe why like my kids get dressed up a lot. Like my daughter switches outfits like 5 times a day. Like, you know, she'll, and you know, it's really cool that they have interest in things that I'm interested in, you know. And yeah, I just feel like I felt like I needed to address it just to like clear some air that I'm, you know, one, this isn't like a forced thing. I don't have like, you know, a gun held to my kid's head and be like, yo, you got to do this, you know. But this is also something that like they see me doing, and that, you know, they want to be like, hey daddy, we want to do this with you, you know. And
Yeah, I just feel like it's like parents have always taken pictures with their kids and posted them online.
and that's the thing.
Like I don't know what the difference was.
When I became a parent, I used to tell everyone, I'm not going to be that type of parent to always take pictures of their kids and post them up online. Like I used to think that was like, that's kind of cringe. Like I don't see how they do. But when I became a parent, that's what I did, you know. And you know, when Caden started school, I had thrifted his entire like wardrobe, you know, just because that was something my dad did. And you know, when Caden was like a baby, I've been thrifting pretty much everything for the kids. And then it became to like when Caden started school, I was like, okay, let me post his first day pic, or his first day of school outfit. and it became like his second day outfit. And then I'm a very habitual person, and then I just started taking pictures of his outfits and posting it on TikTok, not thinking like I didn't ever think it was gonna, blow up the way it did at the time. And then, yeah, it turned into a thing. And then I think there was a point where people on TikTok, where TikTok was like, where they said TikTok was gonna shut down. And someone was like, hey, why don't you start posting the kids' outfits on like Instagram? And it's nothing like, I genuinely like my kids' outfits. I think, my dad used to dress me up as a kid. I do it with my kids. And then, I kind of just want to also show people too, like, you don't need like crazy amounts of money to like put outfits together. Like most of Caden's outfits, when I started posting them, both the kids' outfits, most of their outfits are thrifted,
Yeah.
And a lot of kids love Caden's outfits. I'm trying to show people like you don't need like crazy amounts of like designer or like big brands to like be able to look cool and stuff. Like a lot of people don't know. People think I buy a lot of Caden's outfits brand new, his shoes and stuff, but most of their wardrobes for both my kids are all from the thrift store.
You know what I think it was? I was trying to like when I saw you address it, I was trying to figure out like, what is it? Like I was really confused. It was because of how many followers that you got. Like his account, it was like what 80K, and then like it's like shut down or something like that.
Yeah, he got shut down 4 times.
Like it was just, I think it was genuinely people being like, oh, how does this kid get this? And I post so often, I don't get the same amount.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like you said, I think people be forgetting sometimes our Instagrams, although, we do get partnerships and we do get paid sometimes, it's our Instagram. This is my Instagram. I didn't you liked what I post. That's why you followed.
Yeah.
So like, don't take it anywhere past like, this is my social media account. Like I can post whatever I feel is needed. And I feel like it would show if you were using them for views.
Yeah.
Like, I think it would be, I've seen parents make accounts for their kids where you just know it's like, oh, hold on, just say this real quick. No, do it again. Like the Costco kids.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. It's just, I think it was genuinely just like how much traction was that the pages were getting.
Yeah.
That people were like, well, why does this kid get this and I can't get that?
Yeah. And I told people that. I was like, dude, I didn't expect this page to get to where it's at, like they're literally, when you're a kid, your parents take pictures of you as a kid, your outfits and stuff like that. It's like I'm just doing it now in my generation. I don't have photo albums. You don't take digital pictures anymore. You kind of just take your pictures on your phone and you upload them. I'm not doing anything crazy with their accounts. I'm literally just posting their outfits. It's not, I'm not the algorithm, not Instagram. I don't know why they pushed it the way they did,
Yeah, that was an interesting situation. I was just like, that's weird that you even have to like make a public announcement saying like, I'm not using my kids. These are just my kids.
It hit a spot because people, it made, I'm a very, very, very active dad. Like I make sure my kids are always taken care of. I'm always on top of it when it comes to my parenting. So for someone to attack me like that, kind of like, I was like, oh, I gotta say something. Regardless, I didn't have to defend myself. I could have just ignored the comment. I could have just deleted it. But, I feel like sometimes certain things need to be addressed where it's like, yo, like, don't get it twisted, because all it takes is one comment and then people start speculating and stuff like that. A lot of people don't see a lot of the other behind the scenes of like how I am as a parent. You know what I mean? All they see is like the outfits that I choose to put on like Instagram and like little moments here and there on my page and stuff like that. So it just felt like an attack on my parenting. And for someone like me, I take pride in like, how I take care of my kids, so I took that a little personal. So I had to address it somehow.
No, like I said, I think you handled it pretty well. The fact that we even live in a time where you even had to do that, I was just like, oh God, there's so much worse going on Instagram. And this is what people are trying to speculate about.
Yeah.
And even if people do follow you like on your story or just like your post, like you're always with your kids. And it's not always about like, oh, stand in front of this picture. Like you might just be at the market or something, or you might just be, you know, out somewhere eating. Like they don't look like they're like being forced to do anything.
Yeah.
So I mean, I get it though. I mean, people are always gonna, you know, come up with their own conclusions. So I just wanted to address that here so we can put it out there in the ether. And the final question that I have for you, being that, you know, you've been doing this for as long as you've been doing it and you've had like good success with it, what advice can you give other content creators? Because I feel like now there's this influx of everyone wanting to be this, and it's kind of hard to kind of make yourself stand out or like, you know, get the traction that you want. So like, what advice can you give someone out there that may want to start, but they don't know where to start?
I feel like a lot of it is like consistency. If you know, especially as like a creator, you kind of have to just put your stuff out, you know, because you honestly don't know. A lot of my content that has done really well are always the posts where I'm like, oh, this one's not gonna do well, which is crazy. Like the ones that I'm like, oh, all right, this is the one. Like this one's gonna, you know, this outfit is good. This whatever is good. It never does well. And it's always the ones where I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna just post it for the sake of like, you know, it's been a while since I posted. Let me just post this one up. It's not like my favorite, but it does really good. And I'm just like, okay, you know, even myself, I'm still trying to figure it out, like what it is that, you know, the algorithm likes or what people like. But you kind of just have to be consistent and put out the stuff, even though you don't think it's gonna do well. And as you go on, you'll start to find like your niche or what people really gravitate towards. Like there's some people who review like sneakers. There's some people who review whatever product it may be, or like a certain type of style that, you know, like your cloth toss was, you know, at that time, no one was doing anything like that. The leans, those were very significant to like I always, anytime someone, every now and again I'll see someone like do a lean on their picture, and I'm like, yo, it always brings me back to like when you started it, you know. So honestly, just you got to just post, just post for, you know, post whatever content you have and just be consistent with it. And it doesn't even have to be the same kind of content. Like, especially if you're starting out, just post what you love. I think people really enjoy people being genuine about themselves. You know, nowadays I feel like a lot of people tend to do the same kind of thing, more so. But you know, they're if you really like show people, especially with like TikTok, the people that show their personalities, the people that show like genuine like their interests and show themselves and like are not trying to be like someone else, I feel like those people do really well. But yeah, honestly, it's just consistency. I tell most people post whatever content you have and just be consistent with posting. Eventually you'll find like what it is that you're good at, or you know what it is that people like about you and your content. So
right, I feel like people are gonna follow you. Like they may see your fit on the explore page, but then, you know, your personality is what's gonna keep them there. Like, yeah. I feel like that's how people, like, you capture them with the fit, but then like, you know, I feel like a lot of people who follow me just like a good laugh because they always in my DMs saying something crazy.
Yeah, your DMs are fucking
I usually just share on my story and people just have a good time. Like that's my overall, like I like fashion, I like clothes, but I feel like for a while, especially during the pandemic, people thought I was just like this very artsy. I'm into the arts and, you know, fashion. I'm like, you know, so mysterious, but it's like I'm cracking jokes 24/7, bro. Like that's like who I really am. So I feel like once I start really doing that, that's when I started enjoying social media more. I didn't really like it when it was just like, oh, like I'm trying to be mysterious and like, nah, I just like, you just gotta just be yourself. Be yourself and post for you. Don't post with the intent of being like, oh, I'm trying to get famous right now. It's like, I feel like that's also very apparent too when people are just trying to do it for attention and, you know, eyes.
Yeah, I noticed like when it wasn't until like I think it was like a couple years ago I started like, because I kind of wanted to do like just the fashion content stuff, And then I started showing more of like my daily life as a dad. I started including like little bits and pieces in my like in my feed of like me doing dad stuff. And it was something I've always held back for whatever reason. I don't know if like I just in my head I'm like, you don't need to show that stuff. And I get it, like, to for every parent to each their own opinion, right? But I started including my daily stuff as a dad, and kind of showing people like, this is my life as a someone who's into fashion and who's also a parent. And like I felt more free being able to like post that aspect of my life, because that's a huge part of my life, you know what I mean? And I felt like I was always hiding it because I don't know, something in my head that told me like this it's not going to do well. But that's one thing I couldn't escape, was me being a dad and being proud to show like what I do with my kids and little aspects of my life here and there. And it did really well. It gave my Instagram growth was grew a lot since I started doing that. Yeah, and it's been good since then.
Nah, I like that. I love hearing that. Cause like, again, I've seen, your account, like it's definitely picked. Like even just like some of the other people that like when we started posting on social media, like just seeing these accounts that like, we were all just like, bro, like we share my posts, or like, it's just dope to see like people are still actively, getting work with partnerships, and like they're constantly growing. Whether, some people definitely did kind of leave from Instagram or go to TikTok. Some people from TikTok came to Instagram. So, and some people went to YouTube. So it's just interesting and dope to see like the people that like when I was coming around too are still doing this. But I just want to thank you, bro. Again, I always like to thank the guests, because it is a weekend day, so you could be resting or you could be chilling.
No, thanks for having me. It's so dope that we were able to finally, talk and stuff like that.
Yeah, I need to come out there, bro. I've been playing because I know you linked up with my homie Vince from
yeah,
Dallas.
he told
That's the homie.
Yeah. If you're ever in LA, even if like you like pull up to LA for like Rose Bowl or something, you guys gotta let me know. I'll pull up. But I was supposed to go to Texas last month for Austin City Limits, but things happened. I was gonna hit you guys up to like kick it and stuff, because me and Vince were talking. And he was like, yeah, Greg's over there, and I'm like, damn, I should try to like come over there sometime. But I'm like restricted with like what I can do. But if you guys are ever in LA, man, let me know. I'll pull up to like wherever you guys are at.
Nah, most definitely. And if you anywhere in Texas, really, because they are, Abu and Vince, they're out in Dallas, or even like some people like, brother with a beard out in Houston. Like I could go to any, like Austin is like in the middle of it all. So it only takes me so long to get there. But again, man, appreciate you for jumping on here.
Thanks for having me, dude.
Thank y'all for tuning in. But without further ado, like I always do, I'll catch y'all on the next one.
But I love the way you work it. I love the way you work it for